Back home on the Lal Street, the Nifty and the Sensex, they came off the intraday highs in Friday's session, but they still ended with gains of around 0.3%. The mid-caps, well, more or less, they followed suit, but the Nifty Bank, that was the big outperformer, led by Kotak Mahindra Bank. The index gained more than 1.5% by the time we wound down. Anisha, tell us, trade setup.
Oh, well, yes, the Bank Nifty not only outperformed on Friday, Nigel. In fact, all through the last week, the Bank Nifty was up around 6%. And as you were pointing out, in the last 1 month, the Nifty has piled down over 800 points. And most of it, or largely, the last week also saw quite a bit of up move because the Nifty and the Sensex were up almost 4%. In fact, the Nifty Bank post record close and the biggest weekly gain that we have seen since May 2016. So it was a very good week for the banking space, especially stocks like Kotak Mahindra Bank, etc. And the experts believe that this has been a pre-election rally or an inflow-led rally because remember, the FIIs have been net buyers all through the month of March so far. So that has been good news. In fact, on Friday itself, we saw big global investor Vanguard picking up a lot of mid-cap names, pumping in close to 1,500 crores. Names like RBL Bank, DCB Bank, V-Guard, etc. were in focus on account of that. In fact, talking about the FII inflows, if you look at the last week, we've already seen an influx of around 15,000 odd crores. Look at March 15 itself, a net inflow as far as the cash equity market is concerned of around 4,000 crores, and even the gross figures were really high. Perhaps there was a bit of rebalancing when it comes to the portfolio, and the Indian portfolio really saw a bit of money influx there, while the DIs, they have been booking profits all through the last week, as you can see on your screen. As far as the cues for today is concerned, well, the US markets has positive cues to lend to India because the US markets ended well in the green. The S&P 500 posted the best weekly gain since November, and the Dow also rose around 100 points. Now, the tech sector has been doing exceptionally well. In fact, it is the tech sector which has become the leading sector when it comes to the US markets. And there is this rising optimism about the US-China trade talk, etc. And that is what is lending support to the US markets. It's a fresh week, though, and we have a lot of cues to watch out for. First up, of course, and the most important is the US FOMC meet, which starts tomorrow. We'll hear the outcome on Wednesday night, India time. While no rate changes are expected this time around, it is expected that the Fed might turn a tad bit dovish, and more importantly, any comment coming on the balance sheet reduction is something to watch out for. As far as Brexit is concerned, the uncertainty looms. Theresa May is trying to persuade her MPs for the third time to back the deal now, and there seems to be a vote on withdrawal agreement that will happen on March 20th, so keep an eye out on that. As far as the local cues are concerned for the week, well, the most important is the GST Council meet, which will be on 19th March. The expectation is that they will talk about the transition of the rates from the old rates to the new rates as far as the real estate sector is concerned. So watch out for that. Other than that, over the weekend, we got the trade deficit data, and it did not look too bad because the deficit data has come down. Deficit has actually come down to 9.6 billion versus 12.3 billion year on year, and even month on month. We've seen quite a bit of improvement, so that should aid sentiment today as well. And as far as the Nifty level is concerned, 11,500 looks like on cards. That was SGX Nifty suggesting, but other than that, experts believe 11,600 is also not too far away. In fact, it's the biggest weekly gain that we'd already seen on the Nifty in the last 4 months, and maybe this up move will continue if you look at the other cues. So those were the market cues, Nigel, as well as that is concerned, because Asia is trading in the green and the SGX Nifty suggesting the level of 11,500.
All right, Anisha, thanks so much for that. But what about stocks in focus today?
Okay, I'll start with HDFC because they have received the approval from RBI to acquire around 9.9% stake in Bandhan. Now, remember, they had pitched in to get around 15% stake, and that this means they might have to sell out something in that merged entity. So we'll wait by to hear more as far as this is concerned. Moving on to Lupin, where we were talking about how they have got a OIA status for this Somerset facility in New Jersey, and that is not good news for Lupin after what happened to the Mandadeep unit last week. So keep an eye out on Lupin today. Grasim Industries, well, this could be a tad bit of, a huge dampener if it comes through, because it seems like they have received an order, a tax demand of over 5,800 crore rupees on account of some dividend distribution tax. So keep an eye out on Grasim. Mindtree is the stock in focus. We have been hearing how L&T is looking to do a hostile takeover and pick up VG Siddhartha's stake, but it does not look out completely because remember, Mindtree is trying trying to bring in a buyback to cut down this threat of hostile takeover, as well as the co-founder, Mr. Bagchi, has come back to the helm. Remember, he was in a government job and he has now informed that he's looking to quit his government job and come back to Mindtree to really support support the company at this time. Hoodco also remains in focus because they have raised around 5,300 crore rupees. Vodafone Idea is in focus because India Ratings has put their rating on negative watch. Keep an eye out on IDBI Bank because they are looking to sell around 1% stake in National Stock Exchange. So that is something to watch out for. Lakshmi Vilas Bank, that one has been in focus over the last couple of weeks. Now the QIP has been done and they have approved raising the funds at 72 per share. The stock is currently trading at that 65 rupees level, so it might see a sentiment boost there. Majesco, well, they have sold off one of their businesses, that is the insurance product and services business. So keep an eye out on that. ADAG Group, so the Anil Ambani group of stocks will be in focus because NCLAT has refused SBI to release the IT refund of 260 crores that they needed to repay Ericsson. And this is very important because remember, the court had ordered that Mr. Anil Ambani might even have to go to jail if they are not able to maintain or get this repayment to Ericsson in time. Other than that, Jet Airways continues to be in focus. There are sources that say that the pilot has written to the Labour Minister, and apart from that, they have stopped flying to the Abu Dhabi region, and that is something important. DHFL continues to be in focus because they have sold now 31% stake in Avanci Financial Services, something which was widely talked about and now has finally happened because they are selling to Warburg Pincus. And lastly, Embassy Property Developments REIT, the first one ever for Indian markets, is going to open today its IPO. Nigel, they're looking to raise around 4,700 odd crores, so that should also be on our radar.
Okay, all right, Anisha, thanks so much for that. Well, on that note, we'll slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll talk about trade data as India's trade deficit in February narrows to its lowest levels we've seen in the last 17 months. More details when we return.